already hit the like button. This is North Korea.
We got a good show tonight. Me and Jared are going to be talking about the current events. Um, I've got a sorry, my nose. Oof.
You got some mustache hairs tickling the nose of yours.
Yeah, I sorry, I got a cold right now. So, we've got a few different angles. I'm not sure exactly where Jared's at with his research, but I've got a few things that I found. Um, First things, well, tell me what you know uh currently about what happened.
So, and what I see, there was a Israeli hit on Charlie Kirk as a result of him waking up, becoming a real boy, and speaking out against what it is they're doing. He called on Jews around the world to speak out against Israel. He called Epstein a Mossad agent and a few other choice words which rubbed the Jew the wrong way. He had been taking Israeli money for years, and he bit the hand that fed him. And if you're a member of the gang and you want to leave and you know their secrets and speak against them on your way out, you get clipped. And that's my take.
Yeah, I think we're both in agreement of what we saw. It was pretty heavy to see. Um, well, definitely when it first happened, I felt like, well, this is definitely going to escalate into something really big. And I found a few things that um, not only back up those theories, but also uh, the stuff that happened just recently that I found. Um, and some of it could just be to escalate what what we're kind of being led to. Um, I had my suspicions about the um Slav likes the mustache. I was trying to hide it from Jared, and I was doing the top down video while we were talking on Zoom, and then he fucking saw it. I looked up too much. I was trying to trick him and not let him see it. Um so immediately when they started talking about the trans stuff, I was like, this is there's no way. Like, but I see how it kind of folds together. And what I think happened is I think they basically did in Oklahoma City with this guy. And what this Discord thing is, I mean, just my experience of being on Discord for a little bit, like a month, uh, these people are disgusting. It doesn't matter what chat room you go into, but like the people on Discord that are regulars there are absolutely the most vile human beings. And I think they I don't know, I don't want to say it's a honeypot, but they find people that are vulnerable, which that's a community that is very mentally unstable and
Right,
easily vulnerable. And so I think two things can be true at once. I think it's when they're saying it's a professional, not a professional hit, as we've talked about before, where I say that they always have to tell you the truth. They have to like put it in your face because like otherwise they're like breaking the rules of the game. And it's like litigious. So it's like, no, we weren't lying,
right,
when so like it's what they did is they found people that can easily be manipulated. That's what they did previously with the white nationalist movement, where they found guys, um, or any of these subgroups, where a lot of it revolves, and I'm guilty of this when I was younger, trying to find like father figures and just a family, because a lot of people are gravitating to these groups because they don't have a strong familiar unit.
right,
And so, uh, yes, the shot was not professionally done, but it was a professional hit in the sense that it was escalated to that by putting these thoughts into people's heads and promoting a lot of these ideas and enraging people. So, uh, do I want to say that everyone in the trans community, like the person that makes my coffee, unfortunately, every fucking day at Dunkin' Donuts, is a hitman in waiting. No. Do I trust you? And no. But I don't believe that they're all out for blood, but they all do have a chip on their shoulder from my experience.
Oh yeah,
And um it they're all a lot of times just people that are unfortunately dealt a bad hand a lot,
they're mentally unstable.
and so it just compiles and becomes kind of a perfect storm. And some people just take it out on themselves by removing body parts, and sometimes they take it out on you by removing body parts. And um but anyways, I think a lot of stuff that we've both seen, and probably a lot of people that are watching this have seen, is that there's definitely a very odd element to this and the timing. Um, so the I have a few things. Let me go up because I want to make sure that we're on board in the same place.
Did
Uh,
did you did you by chance get any George Zinn clips?
so I didn't get a George Zinn clip, but I do have some stuff about George Zinn here. I let's see. So there is, if you look under the tab that I put for accomplices, I'll pull that up there. Um, and I'll put that on the screen for everybody as far as that. Where are we at?
And I didn't mean to jump the gun and get to there right immediate, right away, but I find he's an interesting character in this conversation.
Okay, so what I've got up right now is a tweet by somebody at Ryan Mata Media, and it was a video the guy did, but I can just read what the summary is in the tweet. And the odds are 1 in 2 billion that George Zinn was a witness to the 9/11 attacks where he described seeing the planes hit the towers. Then he got arrested in 2013 for emailing a bomb threat joke to the Salt Lake City Marathon shortly after Boston bombing.
Yep.
And he was detained and questioned as a person of interest after Charlie Kirk's uh, assassination on September 10th, 2025. Oh, hey, fuck, bud. It's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. So that's kind of the background of this George Zinn guy. Let me see if I have
Who
the.
happens to be a Jew.
Yes. And so here's a picture of him right there that I have picked up or pulled up right there. And then he instantly, as he was uh, basically taking credit immediately for the hit, which is a very odd thing to do. Um, I mean, that's an insane thing to do.
Insane.
It's absolutely insane. I mean, you could, uh, um, honestly, fucking, someone could have killed you right then.
Could have been shot immediately, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have no idea. And the security team, by the way, I learned, you know who, well, we know who runs the security team, but do you know who's connected to the security team?
Oh, I'm not familiar with this angle, no.
So I didn't know this, but it seems like Jocko Willnick is involved in this security team. Um,
Really?
and so let me pull up the security slide here. Let me close this accomplices thing. We can go back to those pictures. But if we go back to this right here,
We
this
talking
is,
we talking first base coaches?
so yeah, we've got Dave Burke, Chief Development Officer. of Echelon Front, and then they took their website down completely.
Hmm.
I'm going to play the
Convenient.
video of somebody scrolling
Hmm.
through their website. Let me kind of slow it down.
Notice Echelon front has a trident in its
Why do I know this name also? So they have 975 clients. They've completely wiped their website. Um, but uh, I believe they were Israeli owned. Um,
that dude looked like a Jew if I've ever seen one.
yeah. Yep.
Mr.
So
Kirk.
led, and let's see if this they didn't scroll very well on here, but yeah. So Jocko Willnick is a co-founder and CEO
Hmm.
of this company, which is uh very crazy. Um, and so if we go back to uh Mr. Zinn, let me pull up the rifle that he had. Let's see. Go
The rifle,
ahead.
the shooter had.
Nope. The rifle
Like,
that apparently this guy had.
oh, like there's like
So
a person in the parking lot or something or other
some
that had a rifle.
a
Yeah.
pellet gun. I thought that Zinn was
He,
caught with the pellet gun as well.
was he?
Am I
Hmm.
confusing? There's two guys.
You may be correct on that. I haven't been digging too hard in in the last day. I was watching soccer today, but
And so it
it
oddly enough looks the pellet gun, and I'm going to click to the next slide, looks kind of similar to the rifle that they found. Um, which let's talk
uh,
about that.
allegedly a Mauser was found in the woods, a 308, if I'm not mistaken. And I was talking to my
That's a
friend
30
Bill.
yacht 6.
Yeah, 30-06, correct. Um, I don't own a firearm. Uh, I hope to in due time. I get my rights back next year. But long story short, he stated my friend Bill stated that that's not an easy firearm to dismantle, and in order to remove the barrel, you would need tools and a vise to remove the barrel from the lower. And go ahead.
What was weird too is the guy that uh fuck I just oh the remember with yeah, I've got a bunch of slides, guys, about the airplane and all the owners and stuff that are I'll show some details on that. So the thing that was odd about that was Steven Crowder supposedly got some kind of message from some guy in the ATF about transgender magazines and stuff like that, which was very odd. I didn't see the letter, but obviously that's not a firearm that takes magazines or clips. Um, and then looking at the rifle, obviously the optic is way back.
Way far back
So
on the mount. Yeah, it's in a terrible position. You're giving yourself a black eye if you even try shooting the thing.
this I can explain, I think, but um, the rest of it I can't. So
Well,
one,
if
somebody theorized that it was somebody else's rifle that the guy got. Two, optics usually you get an Allen key to go in and mount them is
yeah,
usually on the brackets that hold the optics or usually have like an Allen key to hold them
Yeah,
tight.
small Allen key. Yeah.
So he could have tried to disassemble or loosen it, and the uh oh, does it have a mag? Okay, I wasn't sure. So because it looks like it's a okay, it's a bolt action, but it does have rounds stored in it. Okay. So what he could have done is try to loosen up the optic and then remove it, and that would have just caused it to shift like that. That's
Well, well,
possible.
that is possible, but I have another theory, an alternate theory. That's not the gun used to kill Charlie Kirk. That
And
gun was left in the storm drain.
so that's the one that they. So you think that was in the storm drain, or you think that's the one that they found wrapped up in the forest?
Well, the one wrapped up in the forest was a plant, and it was placed there to be deemed the weapon used in the assault.
Do you
But in
think it's the same type of rifle?
I could have. I would think that they probably, for ballistics purposes, used a similar rifle. That would make sense that they would use a rifle of the same caliber, the same make and model, for the sake of placing it at the scene of the crime. But in my opinion, from this video that I've watched,
Get
and you
closer to
will
your
be
mic.
from this video that I've came across, and from my understanding, the shooter, when exiting the roof, leans down with his left hand and he places the rifle in the storm drain. He hangs from the storm drain, and then he grabs a bag with his right hand and leaps from the building. So he places the rifle in the storm drain with his left hand, and feet away, he grabs like a bug out bag, complete with, different clothing, cash, a passport, etc., in order to make his getaway. And I'm the first person that I've seen having this discussion. I posted it in the Patreon and on X, but no one else has said this shit but
All
me.
right, I'm playing it right now as you're talking.
So I encourage people to take a close look at this video and
It does look so. Oh, well, that
blow,
might be
blow
a
the video up
shadow.
blow the video up so they could see it, because I'm
It's
using
it's zoomed in, so there's something on the very corner, but I can't tell if that's
he
just a shadow.
places you see him place it in in the
Okay,
storm drain,
I see that.
and then he hangs from the storm drain, and then with his right hand he pulls a bag out of the storm drain that was pre-placed there.
Yeah. Okay, so
You're gonna see, bang, and there's footage of him going through a neighborhood, and he's got like a little backpack on. I'm not sure if you have that
I
footage,
don't
but
have that one because it's not really there. You can't see shit in that one. But
well, long story short, it's not a bag that has a rifle housed in it. It's whether a disassembled rifle or not. I mean, it's like a small, it's like a JanSport. Oh, it's not a very large backpack.
yeah, what I'm trying to
So
tell is in the very corner there.
so like as you can see, he places the gun in the storm drain, hangs, and grabs a backpack to the right of where he placed that.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. It's really so fucking hard to make out. Like
He
I'm
just ran from.
I'm willing to go, with you on that stuff, but uh,
M- Maybe you.
and then I've got
I,
also the um
I saw it on like a Fox News post. I mean, this was like, official.
so if you look at it while he's approaching the corner there, it seems like there's a shadow of his body onto the extreme corner. You can see his two legs, see him put down the bag. He puts his left hand down. He could have like I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No,
He
please,
he could
please.
have just slid it a little bit and then grabbed it with the right hand. There's another. I'm playing it slow. Um,
So the way I
falling
look at
about
that, stop,
12
stop right
feet.
there. No, exactly. The way I see that right there, he's placed the bag with the left hand in the storm drain. He hangs, and then he grabs a bag with the right fucking hand and falls with the bag. So why not grab the bag with the left hand when it's on his left hand side? It makes no sense that he would place it in the storm drain, hang, place it with his left hand in the storm drain, hang with it near his left hand, and then grab with his right and pull a bag down with his right hand. Why not his left? It's right next to his left hand. No,
And so the other thing I pulled up here is a picture of the actual top of the roof where they've got the evidence labeled. I don't understand what they've got five different indentations on the ground like they usually do with bullets, and they've got a tag next to it that says 2. So I don't understand what they're trying to do except for either match up the guy's profile of the, like, how they put like that sand on the top of the buildings.
yeah,
um I don't know what they're trying to do except for possibly get the outline and shape and the height of this guy or his footprints. um and then the next picture you can see is the actual angle. And so that's the other thing too, is people are talking about how, like, it was such a hard shot. That's absolutely not a difficult shot. I've seen people on there ranging it from 135 yards to 200 yards. I think someone measured it at 135 yards, which is like, I mean, I could do that if I'm practice a little bit for a day. I can do headshots one by one with
that's what
an
my friend
AR and
Bill
a
was.
red dot.
Yeah, that's what my friend Bill was saying. He was saying the military um like sniper games, they shoot with iron sights at 1,000 yards, shooting a human-sized target. So anyone with the smallest amount of training um can make a 135-yard shot with relative ease, especially with a scope. I mean, we're talking iron sights, shooting 1,000 yards. So it's not that hard with a little bit of training.
Yeah. Um, it's interesting that they took one shot and they must have been practicing that. Yeah, 1,000 yards though on iron sights with an AR. I mean the
No, I think it's like it's not an AR that they're using. It is
because I
a
think
sniper rifle.
because I think
That
effective range of an AR is like um is 300 to 500 yards.
Yeah,
from
it's not an AR that they're using in this exercise. It's a sniper rifle. But
this is a top-down view of the place. Um, the other thing that I was going to talk about, so I want to bring this back up on this 4chan thing. There's a little bit about the jet, but there was also why is it not? Why is it not? Okay, there we go. Okay, so this was a month before this happened. A guy named Tommy Borum Jokes at Tommy Borum Jokes replied to somebody saying they would. If Charlie turned heel on Israel, they would have someone shoot him at an open air event. They have some idiot groiper with a genetically anomalous issue there to be the patsy fall guy. Part of why you never make the deal with
wow,
the devil in the first place. Okay, so you think that's crazy.
that's spicy.
Okay, so we have a few people that were talking about him dying. There's obviously that Sky person, but then we have let's see. I've got make sure I can pull up the right one. Is this the right? Okay, this is the
Yes, it's the Jews,
suspect
particularly
here.
Shabbat Lubavitch. I love that fucking post. Whoever put that
Okay.
is a gentleman.
It's not under here. Um Sorry, I'm going to go. Okay, so here's one thing that's a little odd that I just saw that you may have not seen yet. I'm going to put this back up here first. Okay, so this is a book on Amazon that was published
But the ninth,
September 9th called The Shooting of Charlie Kirk, a comprehensive account of the Utah Valley University attack, the aftermath, and America's response. As you can see, the publication date is September 9th.
it was shot on
So,
the 10th.
so here's why this could not be anything. Supposedly, I saw somebody in Twitter say that you can change the book titles and all of that stuff um, afterwards, or you could just have a blank thing. But what's odd is that it was made on September 9th, and then some people were saying that it takes 4 to 5 days to get your publication up. So that means that somebody could have just preemptively done this for whatever reason. They had something to go and fuck with people. They could have just happened to have made something and said, oh, we're going to fuck with people. But the other thing was we have this other guy, I believe his name is Omar, and he had, let me just post this, and here's the reviews. It's got 3 reviews. Um, the This Omar guy also made, or Sky, I'm getting all these transgender people confused, but made a song that about Charlie dead at 31. The other thing though about that is the people that are writing it off are saying that you can change the name of these songs. This is Valadez. You can change these SoundCloud names of these songs at any time. Um,
Oh, we're talking like the trans shooter that's alleged to have been
when they
the culprit.
first saw it. So this is Charlie Kirk dead at 31 on his SoundCloud, and he is from Salt Lake metro area as well. Sky Valdez of Ogden, Utah, had a music project called God's Finest Scalpel, and in April released a digital album called Death to American Scum, which included a track called Charlie Kirk's Death Isn't Enough for Me. And then also had the Charlie Kirk Dead at 31. So that's a little suspicious there.
Just a bit.
Um, the other thing is because we were first talking about this with Discord, you've got his neighbor reported that about 2 weeks before Kirk's assassination, and this is something I'm pulled up here, several people with out of state license plates were seen coming and going from the $1,800 townhouse Tyler Robinson shared with his transgender roommate, adding that they did not give off a good vibe. I
So
believe,
two trans, not just him. His roommate was trans.
yeah. And so this other picture of this person, uh, I believe this is the person, Osama bin Tezuka at Fujo Shinsel, was possibly friends with this Daniel Triggs, I believe, was the roommate, the transgender roommate. And this person is being labeled as another knowing accomplice of things going on. Uh, this says, Daniel, I miss you. Please come back. The moment we bumped shoulders crossing the narrow trail path and you shyly apologized, left butterflies in my stomach. I've been coming here every day waiting for the day you'll return. Okay, so yeah, Daniel Triggs was the name. And so this
Super gay.
person knew that. So let me go further. Uh, before
Osama bin Tazuka's gay.
So this was also this person at Najra Galv's. Um, this is the other person that Sky Valdez they were confusing with. No, Omar right here on Twitter. Charlie Kirk is
That
coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone evaporates him literally. That's 9th of September. And let's one day after that,
he says
uh,
something.
let's just say something big will happen tomorrow.
Yes, yes, you
Yes.
showed me this, dude. This
Yeah.
was wild.
Mhm. So that's not the only one. I didn't put it in here. Here's another person.
Who was that curly haired Jew that was like
Okay, so that curly haired guy, this is, I'll go back to him. His name is David something. And
David, huh?
he's the one that cheered uh, when the shot rang out.
Oh,
His
dancing
excuse,
Israelis.
I mean, he literally looks like one of the dancing Israelis.
I'm
He
telling you,
literally looks like not even joking, like
his
he
name's
literally
David.
he looks exactly like one of them if you watch the videos of them. And so um he is of Jewish descent, and when the shot happened, he jumped up, and I'm not going to play a video of him doing it because I don't want to play video even showing dead Charlie Kirk. Um, but he put his arm up in the air and supposedly was cheering. And his excuse was saying that he was saying USA, USA, like Trump to cause a distraction. And you can find the Twitter thread if it's, I'm sure if it's been deleted, that that you can go and see his very odd responses. He doesn't seem very remorseful. He
I, I,
responded very weird, oddly. I was
I
reading through it in live time, and it was
I
very
think I've
odd.
seen the image of him like turning back to the crowd and like
Yeah, you have to
being
watch it
ecstatic.
because if, I mean, okay, I've seen some fucking bad things, and I've got a pretty strong stomach for shit. But if
That's not how you
somebody,
react to someone getting shot in the neck in front of you.
that's not what I do.
No.
I mean, I'm booking it out of there,
Dude,
and I'm
you don't
crawling
stand
over
up.
and cheer with this. Like, he has a fucking smile on his face when that
Correct.
shit happened. Um,
He was ecstatic.
it was very, very odd.
Odd
Um,
behavior, to say the least.
yeah. So let's go back to, we started to talk about these people that were accomplices. Um,
Just another Jew. Not only that Jew, but we got more. Wait,
yeah, just
there's more.
oddly involved in this very enormous event. Uh, just like Howard Zinn, who just happened to be at these major events. And by the way, I just signed a plea deal for something that I have video evidence explaining to the prosecutor of why what I did. And I was looking at some very heavy time potentially if they wanted to fuck me in the ass. And it was a very big ordeal. I'm going to be on probation for quite a while, well, a year at least. Um, and what I did was not even close to fucking sending out bomb threats to people. I mean, if I like the amount of people, not only this guy sends out a bomb threat,
And
but the
yeah,
guy that you know the guy that shot at Trump the first time, I believe.
the
Uh,
the 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 the
the
Black
you
Rock commercial
the
actor.
no no
Yeah,
no 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 not the guy that hit him. Well, he was also involved, I think, in something BlackRock, but
I'm
the
talking about the one in the
guy
bush at the second
at
time
the
around.
golf course,
Yeah.
he was trained by Ukrainians. He also happened oh fuck, because he fucking ruined my train of thought.
My bad.
God damn
I do
it.
that.
Oh yeah, he, what was he at? He had sent out, I think, a bomb, an IED or something to people. It wasn't even just a threat. He got charged with
Unabomber shit.
with
Yeah.
sending out fucking explosives to people, and he's still out there. And then they let him travel to
Mar-Lago.
to Ukraine to go and fight and learn things and then come back. Do you know how many fucking restrictions I have on me for just punching someone in the face? Um, because they fucking put my daughter at fucking risk. And this motherfucker's out here
Go flying to
taking pot
Ukraine.
shots at the president of the United States, gets away because the person that's supposed to protect him just got the job after working at Pepsi. And the guy had been sending out freaking bombs to people. And I'm out here, potentially seeing serious jail time. And like, what am I? Do I not know enough fucking Jews?
Yeah, you
Like,
don't.
because I know some pretty strong, powerful ones. Um, but
But do you suck their dick?
well, that's another show. Um, so speaking of sucking dick, we're gonna bring up and this is not me being derogatory or crass or rude. This is me quoting exactly what they call themselves, which is the Salt Lake City Queers. And let's see.
This gets into the LDS church too and fun stuff.
Okay, so I did hear a little bit about the LDS church, but I'm not going to bring that up yet. So this is Armed Queers SLC. Uh, Armed Queers are a revolutionary LGBTQ organization dedicated to the defense and success of oppressed people's movement. Join us, and they have a link tree, and uh, um, they have a group, and that profile has been deleted now. Um, so this
Surprising.
was for a group of people that are in the queer lifestyle, and I don't really know what that means anymore, except for
Gay.
it's not even like I used to hang out with like old school gay guys. Like there was one that used to cut my hair, and he was a really cool guy, and he would call these people the F word. Like so like it's not just gay. This is like a I don't even these people don't like sex. Like it's not they want to look ugly. They're fucking crazy, and they include furries. So, uh,
That's
let's
some weird
see.
shit, man. What's up with the with the furries, man? That's
Okay. So, we'll talk about furries. So, right now I've got pulled up. This is Armed Queers of Salt Lake City. They help arm, train, and recruit in Utah. They deleted their account on September 10th. If you're looking at this right now, look up in the on the picture and look at the guy in the second from the left corner who seems to be an Hispanic male. Okay. And look at that face. Now look at this picture right here. We've got
we talking the one with the beanie. We talking the long haired one on the right. Say it again.
the beanie guy.
Beanie guy. Okay.
So kind of looks Hispanic. I guess he's Arab because of the name that I'm showing right here. Adib Nasir and Adil Justice Amin Nasir arrested in Magna. I guess it cuts off there, but you can see that he is some kind of weird furry thing. I don't know what this is, what he's dressed up as. Uh, it looks like a pigeon.
Yeah, I think it is a pigeon.
And he was arrested with a bomb. They they raided him and found a bomb on him, and he was part of this group. So that leads me to think that we definitely have quite a network on our hands of these people. And one of the things, so Slav asks later question for Jared, how the fuck did Utah, which I thought was heavily controlled by LDS, become so gay slash troon friendly? There was an aspect of this that someone said that I didn't pay much attention to it, so I can't remember it very well. And I
From
started to think
what I
about it.
understand, if you're openly gay in the LDS church, they boot you out. Like you cannot be a member of the LDS church and be gay. It's not allowed.
Okay, well, there was some aspect of this. Someone somewhere I was listening to said that there was possibility that um, the LDS church was behind this. So I don't really take that much. Like I take that with a big grain of salt. Um, but as we're thinking about this, I believe the Mormons, uh, some Mormons and Jehovah's Witness, do they cross paths a lot, or is it kind of
Some would say there's similarities in the sense that they proselytize and they go out and seek to convert people, but Jehovah Witnesses have rather distinct differences. They believe that only 214,000 people go to heaven.
okay? Well, so I know that both of them, I think it's more so in the Jehovah's Witness, have a serious problem with child molestation.
Well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, both have had issues. The LDS Church was heavily involved in the Boy Scouts of America.
The
And
LDS?
yeah, the LDS
Okay.
Church was heavily involved with the Boy Scouts of America, and like every single branch, every single ward had like a Boy Scouts attached to it. And they pulled out just before this major lawsuit associated with child molestation.
Okay. So this is
And they happened to very timely say, "Oh, we're no longer associated with the Boy Scouts," right before this legislation came against them, or litigation, I beg your pardon. Um, so for those who don't know, um, the president of the LDS Church, Russell M. Nelson, is uh, Utah State alumni, and he's a member of Owl and Key. And Owl and Key members are Skull and Bones.
well, so what I was getting at with that was that obviously, as we all know, there is quite a connection between um, the self destructive habits that lead to either homosexuality or transgenderism or a lot of these.
Pedophilia, etc., etc. Yeah.
And the other thing is MK Ultra and Monarch
Yeah.
both heavily rely on people that are young and traumatized.
Traumatized, and yes, and often on SSRIs. Um, Austin Wade Picard has been discussing this in great detail on his podcast recently. But yes, SSRIs and trauma are pivotal to creating these agents, these individuals that go about and involve themselves in mass shootings and things
And
of the like.
we'll get back to the trauma aspect because this whole MK Ultra thing, all of this rituals, really the trauma that you're leading an entire nation to force forcibly watch this happen. You're you're indoctrinating a lot of people. All of this are basically lab rats in this experiment. Aside from just like what happened to Charlie, we're also going to be ending up with the results of the trauma of watching this.
We are all targeted individuals.
hmm And
This is something I believe.
and so, um, the as we're talking about that, do you know what a fish finder is?
Like in terms of like using sonar to like catch bait before fishing for something larger,
Well, that's what
or
most people know it as. So,
oh, this sounds fun. Let's go.
okay, this is what I heard this before, and I've heard these terms before, but this guy, if you really want to find like somebody that's really taking care of this right now, uh, on Twitter, look up 0 Hour, and he mentioned a thing called fish finding or a fish finder. And what these are people in the LGBTQ community that look out trying to find other people that are like uh, vulnerable to joining this. And they have different rankings of how close somebody is to and labels for these people that are uh, able to be groomed into this lifestyle. So they have cracking an egg. There's like three other terms, but essentially it's about these people go out and find young children, generally on these Roblox apps, games, or these a lot of these video games, and they recruit them into the lifestyle, start showing them, you know, images or ideology, kind of convince them. That's what this whole um, reading to children in these libraries was. Is
Yes.
like, I don't know. So I don't know if you had
They're planting seeds.
the experience of when I was younger. I remember, uh, it's the weirdest shit that'll get in your brain, but I'm sure I'm not alone. Is that when you're younger, you watch these movies and you'll end up having like a crush on like, or an odd like, yeah, like an odd crush or weird like kink develop from watching these early movies. I remember like when I was like a little kid, I had a crush on like one of those witches from one of those witch movies, and for
Mm.
whatever reason, I got all fucking tingly when I had fucking watched this witch, and it turns into
What
all those shits like,
what film was that?
I forgot. It's the one with like the three witches. Um,
Oh, Hocus Pocus.
I think so. And I think there was a witch in there or something that was I
Probably Sarah Jessica Parker,
yeah, I was I
Jew.
it's like when you're first introduced to like tits or like, corsets and shit.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
checks
like
out.
this happens in all sorts of stuff. The whole quicksand thing. I don't know if you know that, but like a lot of people in there, this is how the feet fetish became a thing. Is that like quicksand, people got really into seeing girls like flailing around in these quicksand from like what's the island, uh
Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan's Island, or all those. They used to have like the trope of people falling into quicksand.
Yeah, yeah.
Now there's girls that are online that get paid tons and tons of money for these people that just have a fetish for watching women in bikinis flail around in
In
quicksand.
quicksand.
So
Interesting.
when you go and introduce, just like when you're young and you see a woman that's scantily clad or whatever, like this is how you get the anime, the girls, the people that like are attracted to cartoon characters. You introduce these people at susceptible ages
Yeah,
to
to cartoon tits. Yeah, no,
something
100%.
that's slightly erotic, and it piques your interest because you're naive. And then you have somebody kind of guide you into that further, like a drug dealer.
Dude,
And
Jessica fucking Rabbit, dude. Like what are
yeah,
we talking about, dude?
yeah,
You know?
exactly. And so, I mean, you have the fucking like the I'm pretty sure like just the sexuality in what's the basketball movie with the
Uh
rabbit chick. Like I'm pretty sure there was like
Space
there's
Jam.
tons of tones of like sexuality in a lot of these early things, and that's what they do is they introduce these young kids and they groom them. Uh,
I
yeah,
remember thinking April O'Neil, dude, was a smoke show, dude, and fucking Ninja
exactly,
Turtles, bro.
exactly.
You know?
And if you actually look at the comic books of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's a very, very violent,
Yeah, it is.
extreme comic book. And so, what these people do is they go introduce your kids and find vulnerable people, and they groom them into these lifestyles. And then from then, you've got people that uh, are developing and experiencing these odd feelings, and so you're introduced by this drug dealer. that hooks you, and then you escalate into becoming uh, all the way to some kind of transgender or furry. And I don't know how much you know about the furry lifestyle, but on 4chan, there was one famous furry party that took over a hotel at a convention. And let's just say it turned into quite a mess. I mean, it was really bad. And these people, like, they hide behind like these adorable animal costumes, and then they do some really wicked shit. And it's just a constant cycle with this,
Those
you
things
know,
got dick holes in them, huh?
buddy. Uh, there's things I wish I didn't know, but that's not even the fucking start of it. Like, it's so fucked up. Yeah, like um oh, are you serious that show Shameless showed uh oh, I'm sorry. I thought that you were saying that Shameless showed Harvey Milk grooming. Yeah, Harvey Milk, the leader of like the gay
That
rights
gay
thing,
dude. Yeah, yeah.
was a groomer. And like, it ends up like that. You've got Milo Yiannopoulos, who somehow has crawled his way back into the limelight, went on Joe Rogan and told everybody that it was essentially a zesty endeavor to be groomed, um, you know,
By a homosexual man.
but, and he enjoyed his time uh, when he was a very, very young adolescent.
Oh, geez.
He said this on the podcast. That's why he got canceled. And somehow he's made it back. Um, yeah, and as my wife said in the chat, the Beauty and the Beast, all these movies, um, it's it's early indoctrination. So I guess what I'm saying is these people, there's a huge network of this. There's a lot of these people out there, and they're finding that there was more people connected to this. And as you and I discussed earlier this week, what's that group's name? Because there's a few really nasty satanic groups.
Order of the Nine Angles.
Order of the Nine Angles. So that's O9A, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So if you guys want to look up a group called O9A, and they're just one of these groups. There's several like very similar MO where they're highly sophisticated in the internet and technology and
Yeah,
reaching out to people,
that's what they
and
do. Yes.
then they go and recruit people. 764 is the other one. There's a ton of these groups, and they they do some really horrid things. And one of the people from that O9A group, I believe, groomed a very young girl and used to make her cut herself. Um, but yeah,
The
it's a
smiley face killer in the Austin, Texas area
smiley face
is,
killer is gay guys.
and what I was going to say is allegedly, according to some people, tied to the Order of the Nine Angles, and
Okay.
in order to join, you gotta kill someone and get away with it, and that's the initiation process, and so these people who seek to join the O9A will go down to the Austin area and participate in this ritual.
Okay. Um, let me take a drink. And the next thing I'll talk about, I'll bring it up, is a few articles that are from 2023. These I've deemed Charlie's concerns, I believe. Let me find where I've put that up.
I got to do some more research into the Finder's Cult, Brad. I appreciate the comment. I've been hearing about it quite a bit, um, but I'm not necessarily familiar with it.
Yeah, Franklin scandal, the
I am
Finders
familiar.
cult. I believe the Franklin scandal was tied to the Mormons. I want to say, I know it
We're
was
not we're
tied to the Republican Party.
we're gonna do an episode on that when I start digging into it. But at the moment, I'm not researched enough to speak on it.
So, what I've got pulled up right now is a few articles that rose up to prominence in 2023. This is from Media Matters for America. And um, oh, and Brad, what you probably, since you know all these, there's another one that was the island. Do you know what I'm talking about? Uh, in the
Are we talking the
chat.
Scarlett Johansson film?
No, an actual island outside of Michigan, I believe.
Hmm.
There's an Epstein Island kind of thing, very similar to the Finders cult, where they were leaving kids on this one island.
Well, it's actually not far from the Finger Lakes, and as you know, there's a major child sex trafficking network associated with the Finger Lakes, which are just south of that particular area in
Okay, so
Michigan.
that's probably what you're talking about. I'm
And
talking
and
about.
and fucking Hunter Biden has the Finger Lakes tattooed on his back, dude.
I
Like,
saw that.
which is wild when you consider the idea of that area being associated with child sex trafficking and child abductions and satanic rituals. And he's got the fucking tatted on his back.
Yeah. Well, I like to call my wife's pussy the Finger Lakes. Take that, bitch. um, the article that got pulled up here is Charlie Kirk turns to anti-Semitic stereotypes amid Israel-Hamas war. And this
Oh,
was
they hit
in
him. They called him anti-Semitic, huh?
this is 2023.
Oh, really?
This is one of three articles that I she said fuck off. um and there's another one here in Rolling Stone. Turning Point, USA's America Fest is infested with anti-Semitism. Same thing in
What
2023.
that was 2023 as well, really.
From Holocaust denial to space lasers to white genocide, speakers at Charlie Kirk's patriotic bash have a dim view of the Jews. I
Oh,
believe this might have been the one where Tucker
well,
Carlson and all of them were speaking.
I have a dim view of the Jews, if I may say so. But you know,
Yeah.
I like to give Charlie Kirk's fans a little bit of respect in the sense that they're not as anti-Semitic as I am. You know, they tended to be a little bit more sympathetic to what Israel was doing over the years.
So
And
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
So
No,
in
please.
in another post on Twitter, Benjamin Dominic uh, posted on 10/15/23. Kirk's TPUSA work has made a multimillionaire who owns 5 properties. He's set to lead a 108 million GOTV effort in Arizona, Georgia, and Wisconsin. And he's saying Israel had a stand down order. Let this attack happen.
I did see that clip. Yeah,
If Charlie
he
if Charlie Kirk remains the head of TPUSA, the right has an anti-Semite problem that will follow them into the coming elections. Now,
well, I hope it does.
so
I
that was
hope we get an anti-Semite.
2023. And I think I played that a little bit. Um, Let me play the clip for everybody on here.
I'm gonna step away just for a short moment. I'll be back
Okay, I'll
shortly.
play this short clip here.
Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the number one funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just the colleges, it's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. It's like time for you guys to wake up and say no more, draw a line in the sand. I don't care if you hate me.
That's pretty strong language from Mr. Kirk right there. I've got another one queued up of Charlie talking about Epstein, and that's a two minute clip. And so what I was saying earlier in one of my previous videos, I believe, or no, I was telling someone, where was I talking to someone about this? Essentially, my
I'm watching.
idea
My bad.
is that Charlie, that the problem is, and I think a lot of these people have, is that when you start making all this money, now you've put yourself on the radar of a lot of people with a lot of money. And it's not, when these people start getting all this money, you think that the only thing that's stopping them from opening their mouths and denouncing their handlers is that they're just getting a bigger paycheck. That is not the case. And as we are probably learning right now, it seems more so that you fuck with somebody's money like that, that they're going to really make it hurt. And they can take a lot away from you. I've seen years ago how somebody with money can really ruin your life. I don't know if I really want to go into details, but I can tell you right now that if you know the right people, you can get somebody very screwed in the ways of the law by, let's say, your lawyer is golfing buddies with Yaslav. I'm going to play that clip too. I have
The
a
district
clip.
attorney, judges, things
So
of that
what
nature.
they can do
Yes, sir.
little things like set up so that they have a uh, a court date, your first court date, before you can even get a lawyer, and they can get your all of your funds frozen. And if you don't have any funds to go and pay for a lawyer that you don't already have on retainer, then you're showing up there without a lawyer in 3 days and you're unable to obtain one, then you can be really screwed.
I got
And
fucked during COVID, man. They threw the fucking book at me for some disorderly conduct bullshit, and they denied me counsel. I couldn't afford a lawyer, and it was me, the district attorney, and the fucking judge with no jury. They denied me a jury because of COVID as an excuse, and they had people lying on the stand being led by the fucking cop. He's nodding to them when to pipe up and what to say. And the whole thing was a fucking dog and pony show, and I got fucking steamrolled, you know. And I have this charge against me. I did nothing, nothing, and I was fucked. And that's a small example of what transpires. There's a gentleman who was associated with these murders in Indiana. It's called the Delphi incident, and these two girls were lured to a bridge where they were uh thought to believe that they were going to meet up with some young gentleman who was handsome and rich and happened to have a lavish lifestyle, but in reality it was uh, a lure by this Odinist um pagan satanic cult that lured these two young girls to this bridge. And this guy happens to be fishing nearby. And his wife says, "Oh, weren't you over there not long ago?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so he calls into the FBI and says, "I was there." Like 3 days after this post comes out on their behalf, saying if anyone has any information or was in the area, please reach out to us. And so he says, "Yeah, I was in the area." And the dude gets fucking steamrolled and blamed for the murders. And they gave him like 133 years uh and convicted the man when he had nothing to do with it.
Hmm.
And that's just another example of what it is we're discussing.
And I almost forgot about this because I haven't seen anyone bring this up. But just about a week or two ago, I've got pulled up. This is by at Twitter at Megatron_Ron. And you guys may have seen this before, but oddly enough, Google and YouTube signed a $45 million deal with Israel to run propaganda ads related to Gaza. The deal is called Hasbara. The propaganda will be denying the genocide, the massive slaughter of children, and there is no famine in Gaza. And this was just a week ago, as if they were preparing for uh, one of their biggest proponents and supporters to not be there anymore and not to be able to count on to run cover for them. It's just very odd, that about a week or so ago, uh, Google and YouTube signed this deal with Israel. And then it just happened also that on the day of the shooting, that the Senate decided not to release the Epstein files, and then it just happened to be that we end up bombing our own ally in Qatar uh, to attack the people that were negotiating at uh,
And
for Hamas
the
in
Houthis,
Qatar.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, correct.
And Qatar has been one of our strongest allies. And all of a sudden, in the last uh, probably 6 months, even though they're our ally, we keep hearing that, oh, that's Qatar propaganda. Most people didn't even fucking know Qatar existed, and now all of a sudden we're supposed to be calling them Russian propaganda, basically.
I'm a big geography fan, so I must say that I did know Qatar or
Well,
Qatar.
most people watching this probably know
Yeah,
kind
no.
of that Qatar exists, but the general public has no idea that wait, all of a sudden there's this new country that's leading all of the propaganda, you know?
No, you're 100% correct, and I think it's always fun that I occasionally hear oh, it's Qatar. Let's blame Qatar. Let's blame Qatar. Let's throw them under the bus when we all know it's Jews. And and there are people who make that fun little joke. Um, I think Tim Dillon has been one of the people who's gone out and said this. Oh, those darn Qataris and their media propaganda. They have such long reach from their.
And while you were gone, I was playing the clip of Charlie talking about that literally saying that the Jews run all of the media. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's pretty wild to hear that. You can't get out from under these people. Once you like take their money,
Once you take that coin, dude.
it's not you can't, even if you denounce them, even if
Yep.
you want to leave, you can't.
You can't. You can't.
And
And it's like joining a gang or
so
a mafia. And once you're in and you're initiated and you're brought into the fold, should you in any way, shape, or form attempt to spill the beans
let me
or
oh sorry.
go ahead. No, once you attempt to spill the beans or divulge any secrets associated with the group, there's a Freemasonic symbol that some of you may or may not know, and it's the thumb being drawn across the neck to symbolize your throat being slit, and it's a Masonic symbol and association
I
to let other people in the group and Freemasons know if you ever attempt to divulge information associated with what it is that we do, your throat will be slit. You're a dead man.
Yeah, it's a lot of humiliation rituals. We still have a lot to talk about as far as the airplane, but first I want to play a clip that Slav did mention. And so, if you don't know who Max Blumenthal is, he's a pretty good reporter. Just
Yeah,
don't ask him too much about Lula in Brazil, because he's a fucking leftist, and so like his politics in South America, very very pro leftist shit. But he's very good on the anti-Zionist stuff, and he recently did a interview with Tim Dillon, and I'm going to play a clip here. And basically, what they describe is the fear that both these individuals have of Israel. So you won't be able to hear it, but they will.
uh,
So I'm gonna. It's
I'm gonna just quickly turn off my video again because I'm gonna sip my beverage.
okay. I'm gonna play it here.
I heard subsequent to publishing this story from another source who I would describe as a um, administration insider that corroborated the account in this story. First, that Charlie Kirk was actively and aggressively personally lobbying Trump against bombing Iran in June. And two, that right now the FBI is not being forthcoming. And there's a lot of frustration with the FBI not sharing information.
So in that clip, he's talking about how the FBI is not being forthright with the information that they have about, mostly I would assume, this Discord server that they had Daniel Triggs, which is the lover of Tyler Robinson, that he handed over a lot of chats. So I'm guessing that might have been what led to this one bomber being preemptively caught. But the other thing was that he was mentioning was Charlie Kirk, who had Trump's ear, was talking about how he was trying to get him to not bomb Iran. And We know that that did not work, and uh, for whatever reason, Israel really wants to get rid of Iran. And I mean, we have a few different reasons. Obviously, we've got the Greater Israel Project, we've got the North South Corridor that is basically in the Iran's in the middle from between India and Russia for a very major route
The
for
the
providing energy.
new belt road initiative. Some I forget what it's
The Belt and
exactly.
Road.
Yeah,
Well, that's going to actually go across all the way to Africa. The north-south corridor goes north-south, but the Belt and Road kind of goes kind of like the
east west. Yeah,
east-west, kind of like an equator. And the thing about this is, I don't think, because as we started to go and fuck with Venezuela too, and I think the reason that we fuck with these countries about their oil is not because we need their energy. We have plenty of fucking energy. Oil gets transferred all over the world. Uh, Europe is still buying Russian oil and
correct.
gas, even though we blew up their pipeline. The reason that this whole Ukraine debacle and all of these oil centric countries are getting fucked with by us is because our dollar is tied to the oil prices. Um, I wish I could,
All oil is purchased with U.S. dollars.
yes. And that was an agreement that we had made mostly with the OPEC countries. And then recently, Saudi Arabia, as of this past year, decided that they are not going to guarantee that they are going to only uh, sell oil in US dollars, which will hit us very hard. And
Massive. Yeah.
it just so happens that India is buying oil from Iran. They're transferring it over in tankers. There's a lot of popular talk about Russian oil, but they're not talking about the oil from Iran. And as I've talked about previously, I did an episode about how Iran was selling Israel oil secretly, even after their supposed public relations went awry in the mid 90s.
The Eilat
Eilat to
Ashkelon
Ashkelon pipeline,
pipeline. Yes,
but they
sir.
were trying to resurrect another pipeline that went all the way from Iran to Israel, and that's what the entire 2003 Iraq invasion was about. But so we've got the dollar tied to the oil prices, and we've got oil being sent to India. China is doing a lot of business with Russia. And it just so happens also this week that somebody placed this little country called Nepal between China and India. And all of a sudden, just like a lot of these other color revolutions, they, just like in Russia, in Ukraine, which is Russia,
Yes, yes.
they use the youth to start a protest, and all of a sudden, Nepal, up and out of nowhere, decides that they're going to burn down their parliament and riot. And there's a group of youngsters, and I don't believe that any of these people know. If you go online, you can see there's I posted in the Patreon a few days back, but some guy just happened to be, and that is very odd that he just woke up. Wow, I'm a fucking idiot. That guy was a Fed. This guy that was just happened to be going into Nepal because he was on a bike ride,
I think I've seen that video. Yes.
and it had 11 million views in a day. and he was just happened to be there watching the them just start the riots in the streets and then escalate into burning the parliament down. And I cannot believe I did not even realize that he was a Fed. A lot of these travel bloggers, I bet, are
Oh,
Feds.
they're all feds.
Holy shit, I am so
Dude,
stupid. This is why this one guy that I've been watching, this
Bert
sabbatical guy,
Kreischer.
pulls up so many fucking, he gets so many fucking languages under his belt, is because what they're doing is making sure that these guys have a public audience to go and display the uprisings. And so they just have all these guys all over in your face.
Yep.
Holy shit, I cannot believe I never even thought about that.
Well, one of my favorite YouTube personalities who happened to be involved in this action, Bald and Bankrupt
Yeah.
was his name, and he's a big fan of former USSR mosaics, and he likes to visit countries that were at one time under the curtain, but his grandfather was a Jew, and and for those who know, he's been labeled MI6, and his sole purpose is to like promote communism, more or less. And what he does is he paints communism in a positive light.
Okay, so I'm glad that you brought that up because I don't want to forget this. So we've all seen the video of the guy that's sitting there, the famous guy describing in that interview about communism and how like he used to be involved in it. Do you remember the guy's name? I'm sure Slav can remember it. The guy with the glasses. He's sitting there. It's probably a '90s interview, and he's explaining how they used to indoctrinate people. If you listen
I'm
to the full interview of that guy and his background, he goes and describes how what they originally did was Yuri Bezmenov.
Yuri, yes,
So
yes,
Yuri
yes.
Bezmenov, what he used to do is he traveled. He was assigned to go to India, and what he did was they went around and traveled with the hippies, and a lot of that movement that went to go and meet the Babas in India and the spiritual enlightenment, which became the hippie movement here, was started over there by the communists, and there was a lot of intelligence involved in that.
Oh,
And
yes.
so this is basically what they're doing because they've learned no one is watching CNN, no one is watching like these old media channels. So the way that they get us to watch these things and they get people to promote it, just like with the Arab Spring with Facebook. Remember, we had them overthrow the Muslim Brotherhood, who used to be on our payroll, just like many other groups. They went and used Facebook to overthrow the Egyptian government because we didn't like him around the Obama administration. So their new ploy right now, I'm guessing, is to go and use these travel guys and send them to these. Maybe they don't even know that they may not even actually be like actual agents.
Well, the best agent is an agent that's unaware that he's working on behalf of the government.
So what they do is obviously my channel is amazing. I have great, amazing content that should be seen by millions of people. But obviously, and no fault of my own, even though I'm amazing, my channel does not get a lot of views. But they do give promotions and promote a lot of these videos. Very oddly, we'll just get these strange bumps in the algorithm. that you
Like
won't understand.
Shameless Spurg.
Yeah,
Yes, the
like this
cocksucker.
guy that I documented, this Shameless Spurg guy who was able to get, before he got thrown off of YouTube and they made a Guardian
Post
article
about him, yeah.
about him, he got 50,000 viewers and was able to monetize his thing. And guess what? I bet you when he was able to go and sell a lot of those t-shirts, a lot of people's addresses got found out, I bet, that went and bought these t-shirts from this guy
Yep.
that just happened to be very highly promoting white nationalist views,
Nationalism. Yeah.
that somehow
It,
YouTube allowed for a fucking month. But as you can see, Slav, if he opens his mouth on Danny's show and calls in, immediately gets taken down. Or
yep.
if I use some kind of colorful language, or you don't watch what you're saying, my videos will get taken down immediately. But somehow this guy can say a lot of all the things that we're not allowed to say, gets promoted for
Yep.
a month, and then all of a sudden people order merch from him, and now the FBI, the CIA has a bunch of addresses.
Yes,
Very
sir.
interesting. So we've got the YouTube bloggers that they're sending out there promoting their channels and just happen to be in these very odd places. I was just watching a guy that's bike riding through Congo. He's going on a bicycle through Congo,
I
and
think I've seen that same gentleman. He bikes everywhere, but
it's just fortunate that these people take these very, very long routes and have to spend so much time slowly going through these countries, as if they have to be there for a while to really, document things for a long time in case something's going to happen. And they just, you know, plot around the world and take turns being in different spots. That is very interesting. I can't believe I didn't put that together before. And so, as we're talking about this, let's bring up traveling to different spots and people that like to be in different parts of the world. Let's bring up about this airplane. Let me go ahead and bring up some pictures about this.
I saw you do some good work on this, and I was very intrigued to see
Yeah.
that this particular flight path, the plane had a block on the ability to follow it when searching its coming and going, and it happens to be associated with us with a certain individual who may or may not be a Jew, but
Okay.
good
Don't
times.
don't jump ahead too far.
I beg your pardon.
So we've got on the screen right now a map of Utah, and we have a airport known as Provo Regional Airport.
It's the one closest to BYU, and BYU's in Provo, if I'm not mistaken.
About 5 minutes away, I believe. And so N888KG is the name of the airplane, or the numbers. And at 1810 UTC, the assassination takes place. At 1912, a plane with that number, N88KG, takes off. And at 1944, they turn off their ADS-B radar. So let me go ahead and give a little bit of a breakdown on what ADS-B rules are. Let me go ahead and show you this. So ADS rules. Since January 1st, 2020, all jets like Bombardier BD-100 are legally required to broadcast ADS-B out in most U.S. airspace. Pilots and owners cannot turn off ADS-B legally while in controlled airspaces unless granted an explicit waiver, rare usually for military or law enforcement. If the aircraft appeared to drop off, it means one of two things. And I don't know if I have the full post of this, but this was basically okay. Technical gap. Sometimes ADS-B aggregator sites like ADS-B Exchange Flightware lose coverage if ground receivers in that area don't have a common line of sight. So we've got 2030 UTC. The airplane reappears on ADS-B radar. So if we go back, it says at 1944 is when it went off, and then 2030 it comes back on. That's essentially an hour that they were off the air. Now, this was not a momentary blip, you know.
A lot can happen in an hour.
Yeah, and actually, Eric is asking what happened to static drones over cities. Not sure, but I do want to go into a thing that is also coincidentally happened this week, where Russia just happened to decide to fly, was it 14 or 17 drones that were loaded with blanks into Poland, just as things were kind of slowing down. And there is a thing I want to talk about called Pikrova, which is technology that is able to control drones. It's able to hijack drones. I'm not going to talk about it on here, but thank you for reminding me about the drones. That fully explains why we had drones go into Poland, and then all of a sudden they enact Article 4 to go and get these idiots from NATO to actually engage in war.
You had brought this up, and I wasn't actually familiar with this Poland incident, and I find it rather intriguing.
Yeah, the technology is called Pikrova. John Ritter has a really good interview that I was listening to about it. So, and when you look up the numbers of this flight, N88KG, it was not available for public tracking per request from the owner operator. That's not something that you can usually do.
Without a lot of fucking people signing off on that.
And as you're saying that, actually, remember that maybe a year or two ago, Elon Musk, his plane was tracked everywhere that he goes. Isn't that odd that even Elon Musk, the most wealthy man in the world, on paper, is still is tracked by some college student that ran a website, and then he ended up suing him, but he can't turn off his tracking.
Dude, I watch soccer, and long story short, when the transfer window is open, like there's people who their sole purpose is to track these planes coming and going. Oh, he's coming and visiting. He's doing a medical here. He's talking with the particular club. And these are, multi-million dollar assets. And these things are documented and open source to a degree, and you cannot hide it unless someone allows you to.
So I've got pulled up on screen here the aircraft description, um, the manufacture date and issue date of this airplane was 7/26/2022. Um, and that's when the certificate issue date was. It's a Bombardier Incorporated is the creator of this plane. It's a model BD-100-1A10. The expiration date is 7/31/2029. It is a turbofan type engine, fixed wing multi-engine. Um, let's see what else we got. So the actual manufacture date or year was in 2013. So these people purchased this, I guess, in 2022. And the type of registration is an LLC and is a fractional owner. Then it says valid no. So I'm not sure what that means. The registered owner name N88KG LLC, street the 4101 North Thanksgiving Way, STE 420, city in Lehi, Utah. And then type certificate sheet. Let's see. Information provided here should not be used to determine the airworthiness of an aircraft. Okay.
Didn't it
So,
have a foreign registry, if I'm not mistaken?
okay, so we're going there. Um, okay. So N888KG LLC is an Utah foreign LLC filed on July 20th, 2022. The company's filing status is listed as active and its file number is 12947959-0161. The registered agent on file for this company is Derek Porter Maxfield. Very white, waspy name, obviously, and is located at 4101 North Thanksgiving Way, STE 420. The company's principal address, blah, 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 same address. The company has two contacts on record. The contacts are Derek Porter Maxfield of Lehi, Utah, and Aaron Shalane Maxfield from Lehi, Utah. Derek Maxfield's Facebook page on here says he's from Salt Lake City, Utah. He's single and lives in Guangzhou, China. Interesting enough, Derek Maxfield's Facebook page has his name Derek and then in Chinese letters.
We're going to do an episode on China and Jews. That's on my radar, and we'll be discussing that at length in time. But China and Jews are deeply embedded, and Jews have been in China for a very, very long time, and worked their way into the fold, I think, since the 8th century, if I'm not mistaken. There's I think 8 families associated with Jews in China, and when Marco Polo visited China, he found a great deal of Jewish influence, which was documented. But we're going to cover that at length in another day.
Yeah, I was actually kind of oddly enough watching one of these travel guys on YouTube visit a border country between China and Russia that was has a very strong Jewish influence, and
And we're
Oddly
not even
enough, this
talking like,
guy, when he entered Russia from China there, ended up getting put into um, jail as a spy. Um, yeah, sabbatical.
yeah,
And
we're not even talking like the Jews behind communism and the Jews behind Mao and the communist uprising that took over China. We're talking Jews 1,000 fucking years ago in China. So yeah, Jews in China are like peas in a pod, man.
well, they're probably still alive since they're vampires. I'm just kidding. um, so this also, Bizopedia.com has this listing for their file number, and they have a domestic state as Delaware, and their filing state is Utah. The company is aged 3 years, and it shows Derek. And I think I do have a picture of the company's building on maps. It's in a commercial, industrial, machinery, and equipment rental and leasing. Let's see. Just another picture of it not being available for tracking. More information on the airplane right there in the hangar. Okay, there it is. So this is the map of where this place is on Thanksgiving Way, and it is in a building called Defend. It shares a building with the address, and the company is called Defend Innocence. This is what Slav was talking about in the chat. The rabbi group tied to the plane is also involved with counseling for children victims of abuse.
No, no, you gotta be kidding me.
And what were we just talking about with the indoctrination and cracking a few eggs and MK Ultra and Monarch?
Bang.
And so everything is about trauma, making sure that the entire public is traumatized, just like when they had to go and see their favorite president get shot. I'm not talking about Trump, I'm talking about JFK.
JFK, yeah.
And they do this to you, and they set up thousands, millions of people to go and essentially you're traumatized for the rest of your life. There's a programming. It's
Well,
just like,
dude, you're not wrong, man. And pardon me for interrupting you, sir. Like they could have Anne Heshed him. They could have made his car speed into a building. They could have given him the heart attack gun with electromagnetic frequencies and stopped his heart. But they didn't. They gave him the JFK treatment, dude. They fucking put a bullet through his neck for everyone to see. It's
this reminds me of, fuck. I don't want to forget about that because we've got the AFD in Germany that lost. I heard it was up to 14 candidates.
the number of people that have been murdered in Germany recently of a particular party who were
For the
against
AFD.
immigration and they were fighting to stop the massive influx of Arabs coming into the country, and all of a sudden they start getting clipped day after, like in I think it was 2 3 days, 8 people were murdered. And
Mm,
boy,
yeah. So it is up to close to
it's
20,
four.
I believe, now.
Oh wow, I didn't realize it's continued to grow. I haven't seen
Because
the
it was
recent data
wild
on it.
when it was 7 last, like before Charlie Kirk died.
Yeah.
And then I heard like a crazy number. I thought they were wrong.
Well,
Today, somebody was talking about like 17.
this is similar to what happened in Mexico in the run up to the Jewish woman Scheinbaum
Hey,
becoming
you watch your mouth. There is a glorious Jewish population that is very strong, and there's a lot of Mexican Jews.
Mexicans love Jews.
Mexicans love Jews. They're like they they give us tacos here, and we give them Jews over there.
Well, as someone
That's
from
an
Arizona,
exchange rate.
you know, Southern California originally, and growing up in Los Angeles, Mexicans are everywhere. But I could tell you one thing: that they hate everyone who's not Mexican, and the idea that they would elect uh, a Jewish woman. Mexicans are fucking some of the most chauvinistic, male dominated societies in terms of culture. And the idea that they would, oh, let's just back this Jew and a woman is diabolical. Like, it makes me laugh deep,
And
deep in my belly.
as Slav was saying, Mexico hosted Trotsky. You know, also I've talked about this before in a previous episode of J Talk, is that it's very interesting that the Mexicans were used to keep us preoccupied in World War One
Yes.
by the Japanese, who went over there to convince the Mexicans, because they had sleepy eyes like them, that they were brothers from another mother, and that they should keep us occupied with Pancho Villa. And
That was a gem, man. When you dropped that, I wasn't familiar
it's
with.
one of my favorite stories of history. It's so profoundly racist and funny.
It's great.
It really is hilarious. Um, and what was I? So we was talking about the AFD before that, and we were
And sorry
talking
if I derail the conversation from time to time.
trafficking. I mean, this whole thing goes back to trafficking and trauma. And the other thing I was going to say is, my theory that I've held for a while about the Jewish religion and circumcision, and why, even though we as Christians have absolved ourselves of doing ritualistic circumcision, and they got brought back, oddly enough, by a cereal, Kellogg's cereal maker in the early 1900s, when a lot of
curb masturbation was the idea, and he was a
Which-
Seventh-day Adventist, if I'm not mistaken.
which definitely helped. Nobody masturbates anymore. But the thing is they have little things that they put little boys in when they're just born, and they go to circumcise them, and they put you basically tie you down into this little plastic contraption, and they snip you. It's one of the most gruesome things I've ever seen. And
Wait, you've watched clips of this?
I've seen pictures of it.
I'm just giving
I've
you
seen
shit.
the contraptions. And I remember when my daughter was born, they have rooms that they would take you in for your first shots. We didn't do any of the shots, but they go and take your baby into another room to go do the circumcisions. And I saw them have one of those little plastic, it looks like the plastic that you see in like a McDonald's play place, or like a Disney ride, like that firm plastic molding. And
Yeah.
it's got little straps, and they put them down in. And I can very much assume that from the millennias that they've been practicing this, is that it keeps you traumatized. And as we've learned, and I've stated before, is that, and in Monarch, but like I'm more experienced with like plant biology and fungi, is that you can express genes of trauma through generations of simple organisms like plants. And so it's probably not coincidental that a lot of the population is so easily controlled because you're introduced to one of the most severe traumas. Could you imagine being an adult man getting circumcised and you're able to handle shit as a man? Now imagine being fresh to this world. Your eyes don't even work yet. You can't even see for like the first month of your life. You really can't see anything. You kind of just see blurs. You don't really know what's going on. And you're handed off to this fucking alien that puts you in a plastic bowl, straps you down, and cuts the most sensitive parts of your body. And it just so happens to be that you're the sex that needs to be toned down and controlled the most. Because they don't do it to females here in this country, because that would be barbaric. And we need females to be not controlled in this country. And so you've got children being subjected to awful amounts of trauma very, very early on. And then, even though in the Bible we said we have no need for circumcision, many Europeans don't do circumcision, that they introduced it again just about when these poor Jews were being tormented out of their belongings and their livelihoods and being forced to have their own ethno state that controls the entire world.
Boom.
You know, it's just very coincidental that happens then. But yeah, so it's all a part of trauma and keeping the entire race traumatized. This, as you were talking about with the AFD also, I don't think they give a fuck about the migrants. I think they give a fuck about the fact that you have a loose border and,
Plurgy plan. Yeah.
well, that they can go and transfer people across state lines or borders for sex trafficking.
Makes it easy to kidnap children. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
And I'm not quite there with these blood rituals, although we've talked about Saint Simon, I believe it was.
Simon de Trent and Andre Ushinsky and many others who were subjected to ritual Jewish exsanguination or bloodletting, where they snatch up a Christian child and they drain him of his blood and they use it in satanic rituals. Draw pentagrams into the ground with the blood. They cook it into their matzah. Yeah, it's
So
quite prevalent.
this also here, to get back to this this plane, we've got the application for authority to transact business. Exact name of foreign limited liability company. So this is a foreign company. This limited liability company of the state of Delaware, state or country of Delaware, it says, hereby applies for authority to transact business in the state of Utah. The date of formation is 7/07/22, and the duration period of perpetual. The street address, as we've listed, was the Thanksgiving Way one. And the nature of business to be conducted is equipment leasing. Clear indication of who is managing the company is required. Is this foreign limited liability company manager managed? Yes. And states the Derek Porter Maxfield. And then you've got the is this foreign limited liability company member managed? No. If yes, you must list the full name of residence of each member. And then, even though it says no, it has another person that we described was Aaron Shalane Maxfield.
I
So,
would probably say Feld,
okay.
just for, well, all intents and purposes. It seems as though that the man has at least the alliances to place himself, whether it be within the LDS Church or um, Freemasonic associations. He happens to be in a place of purpose for a reason, and the fact that his resources allowed him to have this plane available and use this plane for the purpose of, taking a man to and fro, whether it be the sniper and the person involved in the shooting. Like, it's pretty clear between you and I and the listeners that this man is either, some some might say intelligence, some may say just uh, a willing party, but it it's clear he's involved, and the company that he runs and what it is that it may be is neither here nor there, but he's someone who facilitated the exit of the person who was involved in the shooting.
And as we know, the only reason we found out who this guy was is because the father turned him over and told him to turn himself in, which that's quite a story to go and commit something like that and then just turn yourself in. And if you want to talk about something odd, is Tucker Carlson had this guy on a few months back talking about the Luigi Mangione guy.
Yeah.
And he was coming up with a very, very rational defense for this Luigi guy that could potentially get him off scot-free, because they had ways of saying that, like, this wasn't him, and proving that it wasn't actually him that pulled the trigger, and so and so. It's a pretty interesting read or listen. But the thing
Well,
that I
to me,
started to think about with this whole thing was we don't really have eyes on him, a firm, real view of him.
you have
And
no evidence aside from the idea that he was sitting in a McDonald's with the gun and like a journal that says, "Oh yeah, I did it." It's strange to say the least. And all you see from the shooting is a man in a hooded black sweater. You can't see his face, and then we're supposed to believe that, he went to Starbucks and made a coffee purchase prior to putting a bullet in the guy. Like, if you're going about doing some business, are you stopping by Starbucks and grabbing a fucking cup of Joe before, before you?
so this campus, there, I don't know, I don't have a confirmation for this. It's a substantially large campus, and supposedly they had like 1,200 different cameras, which is a very large system. I used to do actually that kind of work. Um, I used to do security for very wealthy individuals as well as commercial security involving uh, cameras, networks. Um, so I used to do a lot of that stuff. My dad still does it. So I know this stuff pretty well. And the amount of footage that we have is ridiculous compared to
I
what
agree.
should be out there.
I 100% agree, and I've been saying this. Why is there not footage of him walking around the campus, making his way up to the area where the roof is? How did he get access to the roof? Was the door unlocked?
I
That
had
door is
I had a
that door's locked.
picture of the most likely way he got up there, but I didn't download it. Um, but one of the things that I was always very good at was making sure that there were no blind spots. I remember, and I pay attention to that kind of stuff a lot. Like the last two times that I've been in jail, one of the things that very much bothers me, and it seems to play a very large role in jails and prisons, is the amount
Blind
of blind
spots.
spots
Yep.
that they oddly
Allow.
allow to be there. But with this campus, there is no way that when you're getting that kind of job with 1,200 cameras, that you have any sort of blind spot. And they're paying big bucks because when you're doing a job like that, you have to go and make sure that like everything's tamper
Every
proof.
fucking inch is covered. Every inch. Your job is to make sure that there is not a single gray space in your surveillance system. Like as you've discussed, your purpose, your sole role of being there and setting up the system is to ensure that there is complete coverage, 360 degrees.
The other thing too is that camera technology has improved so much just in the last 5-10 years. You've got I've got cheap $40 cameras. I can see every single thing happening around my house at all times, and like um I have them hardwired, and they're only connected with coaxial cable for the signal, and then two DC powers to each of them, and they still have the ability to communicate motion sensors. So they definitely can quickly narrow down any movement. You don't have to go through hours and hours of footage to go and find um uh find people's movement. That like you can easily basically have events and quickly narrow things down. So when you have movement through areas, you have little markers that you can see where that when someone was passing by, you know. And at night, I'm I guarantee you they had motion sensors um, for lights or like if anyone's intruding inside. So they had to have set this stuff up early. The guy didn't just show up there on the roof. you know. So, you still there? Did I lose you? I think I might have lost Jared.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
I'm
there you
sorry.
are.
I went to grab a beverage. I beg your pardon if I'm off screen, gentlemen.
No, but I was just saying, they just describing the landscape of cameras and how you
I
can
was
pick up
listening.
events and stuff.
I
So,
was watching it.
and the other thing too is it's not just what's on the campus. Everybody and their moms, got a fucking
I've got a
ring,
phone, dude.
no,
Yep.
a ring camera lining up these streets. As we saw, they captured footage of him running. That's not the
And
first place that like led up to whatever vehicle dropped him off. You have miles and miles of houses lining these streets that you can go and follow down to where this guy came from.
and to harken back to the previous uh conversation that we had regarding the shooter exiting the roof, there is footage of him walking through a neighborhood with a backpack. Like I'm talking like a JanSport or something rather small, like a school backpack. And in my opinion, based on the videos that I've seen, he places the gun with his left hand into the storm drain, hangs from the storm drain, and with his right hand, when the gun is near his left, falls from the building and pulls this bug out bag with his right hand. And there's footage of him walking through a neighborhood with his backpack. There's ring footage of him walking through this neighborhood with a short backpack, a school bag. So
The other
that
thing
said,
too is I know that they make very easy to break down rifles. Because I was interested in uh one that's
I
um
like the idea of an easily breakdown weapon.
well, there's
I
one
was
that I was
telling,
really interested called a Kavari, and I forgot what the it shoots Beowulf. I forgot what the is it nine, fuck, what is the caliber? But it's a fucking unbelievably, like, it's just step below 50 cal, and you can break that down into a backpack that's fairly light. Like, I'm talking like a normal school backpack. It comes with a backpack you can just break it down into and assemble it. Um, so to go and have, that rifle disassembled, you could shoot somebody and put it in your backpack and then leave some kind of false weapon, because then you have plausible deniability.
deniability, yeah.
Okay, you have him with a rifle, but you don't have the exact one. So,
And that's the idea that comes to mind when I have this discussion, because I'm the first person to have proposed this idea that he leaves the rifle in the storm drain. He does not exit the roof with that rifle. They find a fully assembled rifle in the woods, a Mauser 308 30-06. And I was speaking to my friend Bill about this, and he was saying in order to disassemble that rifle, you would need tools and a vise to remove that barrel from its connection to the lower. And without, I mean, there is no vise on that roof. There is, he doesn't have any tools. He clearly places the rifle in the storm drain for his cohorts and people he's involved with who helped set up the hit to pick up that weapon and remove it at a later time. And he drops from the building and grabs his bug out bag, whether it, have cash, clothes, passport, etc., etc. And
And also right now I've got pulled up the footage of him going up the stairs, and he's just got a backpack on. And the other thing is he's got, at one point he's walking with a limp, they say. But even with his skinny little legs, and he doesn't have that rifle jammed down the pants. It would make it impossible to go and walk. They were saying he had a limp, but that's
like
probably
he has
because he
guns.
fucked his goddamn
He
leg up.
fucking leg up when he dropped from the building. Yeah, it's a fucking 14-foot drop.
Yeah. So
It's not because he has a fucking sniper rifle attached to his leg, which causes the limp. It's because he's, taking a bit of a spill on his way down, and he's not a fucking parkour athlete. He didn't break his fall well. He dropped a bit far. You could see that in the footage. And
and you know what else? To be able to fall like that and then keep moving on, I bet you this guy was on something too. I bet you he was on like some Adderall or something,
yeah, a little bit
and
of
some
meth.
painkillers or something.
Yeah.
Well, gays are known to party with meth, and that would work out for him. And that could, why he'd have, on top of that, out of state license plates showing up to his house and not staying very long.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, that was something that I played at the very beginning, was that one of these witnesses. In fact, I have one more video of this guy that was a witness. Tarot Destroyer. That's an interesting chat. It's interesting. My boyfriend's testicles were bitten off by a camel recently. Should I marry him when he wakes up from his coma, or marry his identical twin brother whose testicles are in pretty good shape? Why not both? Thank you for the chat. There was a witness that I have a video of. Again, you won't be able to hear this, but he's describing it, and then all of a sudden, he's not acting frantic. Then all of a sudden, people go to stop him from describing what was going on. So
this is a person in
this guy watched the actual
position
shooting.
at the shooting. Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and play this here.
Third row in the bottom. I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off. Get off me! Get off me!
Emotions are running high right now.
So all of a sudden, one of I guess he's with a group of people, and then guys like from his group start like stopping him from telling what he saw to this person interviewing him, and he's like yelling at the guy that he's with to like get his hands off of him, So I don't know what the purpose was of stopping your buddy from interviewing. Why would you want to stop him from telling his story to the news. It's not like he's going to
Very,
get sued.
very interesting. I have my phone up so that I can kind of see these videos that you're playing because I'm not able to see them in real time as we're doing this. That's weird, man.
Yeah.
Like that's quite strange behavior on the part of his friends. Let the man tell his story. Like to get in there and interrupt him mid conversation when he's getting into the meat and bones of things, only to grab him in the manner that they did and prevent him from getting his 2 cents in is strange behavior. Even if they're like just retards and sheep who happen to be believers in any narrative that our media and government proposes, you know, let your buddy talk. So to
So
jump, go ahead.
as we're talking about letting your buddy talk and I interrupt you,
No,
um,
you're good.
this is a clip also that I haven't played yet. This is Charlie Kirk talking about Epstein ties. This one's about 2.5 minutes long. I believe I put it in for if you want to watch it. It's under the Israel Concerned tab right underneath the picture of Trump and Charlie Kirk. It's called Charlie Epstein. So I
I'll,
don't know if
I'll
you want
mute.
to pull that on your thing if you want,
I'll,
but
I'll mute my mic while you play it so that I can listen
okay.
to it and not interrupt the stream.
All right, let me go ahead and play this for you guys.
with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies. But there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket, the kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the clouds that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just a hired gun. Maybe he was just the guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being blackmailed. The Epstein playbook is being used on a daily basis. Jeffrey Epstein was not a financier. He was not a hedge fund manager. Jeffrey Epstein was a key player in a multi-decade blackmail operation against the most powerful. That Epstein, with his...
That's pretty wild, that clip right there. And damn, man. Like, it's really so odd that
How old
all
is
of a
that clip?
sudden, I don't remember, but
Dude, that he's speaking hot fire there though. He's
that's not the Charlie Kirk that I was told about.
yeah, I was unaware prior to his assassination that this man had turned a new leaf.
Because all I
And
ever remember seeing was him getting owned by groypers and not reacting to shit about the USS Liberty and
yeah,
quotes from the Talmud.
he was a Jew sympathizer and on the take through and through for like 99.9% of his entire media career. And recently, man, it seems as though he turned a corner. And like to say that, it, they clearly killed him
He was in a
because
position to lobby Trump about Iran.
not just, I mean, the man had a massive following, and he could speak to, I'm talking like 10, 20, 40% of America with his reach, that depending on, what circle you were in, and the type of media you consumed, the man had a massive outreach.
And
And
it
for
just,
him, go ahead.
sorry. So, and it just so happens that the last month beforehand, South Park, which sold their fucking goddamn soul to, uh, well, um, did a huge campaign on fucking everybody was going against Charlie Kirk. Everyone was talking shit about Charlie Kirk about 3 weeks ago, a month ago. And um, you know, it's really odd that we were all being indoctrinated to hate Charlie Kirk, you
Dude,
know.
I got written up at work because I was like good,
Yeah.
like I was saying crazy shit, and the way I look at it, you yoke yourself to the whore of Babylon, you take the devil's money, you make a deal with the devil, and what happens happens. But I was unaware that he had, you know, taken this stance recently.
The other
I'll
thing, sorry.
go ahead. No, you're good.
So the other thing is with South Park is they completely like I don't know what the fuck got into them, but in like when that COVID shit was happening and they just went so gay about like making fun of people that were anti-vax and
Jews.
thinking that this came from Wuhan lab or just something nefarious, and they made sure to make everybody look like an asshole that did their own research or thought twice about what they were putting into their body. And it just happens to be that they also signed a deal with HBO, which is just incredibly leftist. They're the ones that signed on Vice when Vice became shitty leftist propaganda. They're the ones that have John
Yeah,
Oliver on there pushing out other propaganda, like all of
they
this
they
shit.
they bought Vice because Vice was uh like a grassroots magazine that reached people, and so these Jews purchased it to subvert and control the narrative, and it happens everywhere. If you happen to have a bit of a following, these Jews will throw millions of dollars at you, and a lot of these scumbags take the Jew coin, and that's that's where I was at when I made the statements that I did about Charlie, which got me written up. Um, you know, I said, you make a deal with the devil, and what happens happens. But after coming to this understanding that the man was trying to do a good thing, I feel bad saying what I did, but
I never saw, so I was never like a lot of people, not a huge fan of Charlie Kirk. Um, you know, maybe when I first like started kind of becoming a little bit more right, I like when I first, got into like the Daily Wire and all of that shit. And like it was my first introduction with like early Jordan Peterson and stuff like that. And then you move on past that, but I never saw him anything remotely as bad as Ben Shapiro. And I never had really strong feelings. I just kind of thought he was a dork. Like we made fun of his TPUSA thing that he led on one of my streams one time, where it was like all these girls that were trying to become like trad wives, and a lot of these girls were just like
Oh, that was
just
an interesting one. I enjoyed that.
just kind of whores. But Slav is talking about in the chat about the clip where this kid
Sniper. Yeah.
reads off the Talmud quotes about him and making him uncomfortable. And I specifically remember watching that actually just not too recently.
I posted it on the Patreon. It's about 5 months ago. He's wearing a black hoodie with the word sniper on his sweater. Um,
But
and Charlie Kirk immediately dismisses the man and says, "I don't have much time." Blah blah blah. But
no, 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 no. That's not it. He says these are valid. Those are
well,
valid.
he doesn't allow the man to have as much time as he gives others, and he says this is going to go over a lot of people's heads, and for the sake of that, um he basically says, I'm gonna allow you to say what you're gonna say, but we're gonna keep this short. And it, like, the clip is maybe 3 minutes long, but the gentleman does quote um Talmudic, you know, bullshit that we know to be associated with, raping children and lying to goys, and Jesus burning in hell and so on. But he doesn't explicitly say them. He just states the the passages. He reads them off like he's presenting a an idea, but he doesn't explicitly get into what these passages say.
I
So
I think so. Like Slav is saying, he's torn between what is right and who pays him. I don't think he was torn between what is right. I think he was concerned for his family. Like many people are starting to say, like this Harrison Smith guy who was close to him, and other people have said in the background he was afraid
that they'd
of
kill him. Yeah.
them killing him. And the thing is when you got a family like that, they can hold that over your head. You may not give a fuck about yourself, but when they start threatening your family and, they can be anywhere, they control everything. It's not really cowardice. It's like sometimes you just have to keep your mouth shut and they'll keep paying you, but you're not doing it because they keep paying you. That's
You're
just
doing it because you have to. Yeah, because
you can't do anything.
no, and
And
as someone who's doesn't have a family, like, you can speak on this in a manner that I can't. And you have children, you have a wife. I don't. So I may be a little bit more wild in my takes, but you understand in a way that he doesn't. Or I'm sorry, you understand in a way that I don't. And he's he's in a bad place, man. He's in between a rock and a hard place.
because you don't get the sinister vibes from Charlie Kirk that you do from that evil piece of shit Ben Shapiro. You don't get the sinister vibes that you get from that one guy that calls himself like the God Emperor at Daily Wire. The other guy, you know.
I'm not familiar with that. There's a dude that calls himself the God Emperor.
Yeah, and he's the one that came up with like the shaving commercial and like selling like base chocolates. You know, it's those people have real evil, sinister. I think Charlie Kirk went from being one of these kids that you see in your church that really believes this stuff. You
Yeah, I
really,
see
a
what you're
lot of
saying.
these boomers, a lot of these kids, you really believe that like the Islam is the enemy, that these
Right.
people, these are terrorists, that they really are our ally, and that they've just been, you know, people just hate them for no reason, or they're jealous, and because they're nice to you. Like you might have Jews in your life that like are really nice to you, or
Sure.
that come like rabbis that speak with your church, and you have no idea. It's just like you don't have any idea how sinister the leaders of your own church are until you say something that is the wrong opinion that got me
Exactly.
basically ostracized. Well, not ostracized, but made me leave my church and made me really rethink about being in a an organized group like that.
Well, Sunshine recently said something that all these people are limited hangouts, and I do agree with that. But I also think that not all of these limited hangouts are aware of the role that they're playing, and they're just excited to get platformed and make a dollar or
Or they
millions
really
of.
just believe it. I mean, they really
Yeah,
just think
no,
that they're doing good.
you're spot on. They're
I never
in a
saw
pos
any kind of malice or hate in Charlie Kirk. I never saw anything really like diabolical the way that you see in these other guys. Like he was a true believer of what he was doing, and then through basically interacting with all these people that kept pushing him, he tried to, as you saw in those articles I posted, three different major publications went against him in 2023 after the big conference that they had at TPUSA, and I believe that was when Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene probably spoke, and they spoke out.
I, I
And
do be, I do believe that media takes a stance against certain people in order to prop them up, though. So, like for instance, Trump was getting major vitriol, and the purpose of which was to promote him and make him into somewhat of a martyr among people who wanted uh, change in America. So they promoted him as being a victim for the purpose of pushing him forward. And I don't know if that was exactly what happened with Charlie, but it it can be said this was the case, that they dragged his name in the mud for the purpose of making him out to be someone who was actually um anti this or anti that. But what they're doing is they're promoting him by doing so. Like you and I have different takes on Jake Shields. He says some good things. It's like Hitler. The dude spoke amazingly well and said all the right things, and he had a fantastic mustache. But like, long story short, if you go back to J Talk with Jared episode 8, I believe he was brought in to create the state of Israel. And the purpose of these individuals is that they are platformed and poised as people who are on the wrong side of things in order to steer a narrative, because I believe it's always about steering the narrative. As Sunshine had stated, they're all controlled opposition. If like, there's a reason that this particular podcast has no reach, you know, and doesn't have the legs that it should. It's because we're saying some really fucking spicy things. And like when I talk to people and I tell them it's not that Hitler was a bad guy because he killed the Jews. It's not that Hitler was a good guy because he wanted to get rid of the Jews and expel them from Germany. It's that Hitler was a shitbag because he helped the Jews. All of a sudden, I'm a fucking pariah because I'm persona non grata in every space where I present this idea. I got on J Talk. It's called JQ Radio on Twitter, and I presented this idea that Hitler wasn't good for Germany and he was helping the Jews, and all of a sudden I'm muted, um, um, filibustered, and I am not allowed to get a word in edgewise because I'm presenting something that makes everyone uncomfortable. And I just want to say, Charlie Kirk wasn't a hero. He was a shitbag for 99% of what it is he did. But, you know, he did begin to speak up against the Jews, and for that he was murdered.
Well, I think that's a good note to end this on. I can hear my children crying. I've kept them up too long. I think my recording right next door to them trying to sleep is keeping them up. So I don't want to frustrate my wife anymore right now. I appreciate you guys watching. Jared, I'll talk to you a little later, I guess.
It's always a pleasure, buddy.
Appreciate you guys watching. I think this is a fun one. Slav, the clown that you're asking about in the background is from a movie called The Third Generation. It's a French film about a couple of leftists that try to take over the government. And
There's a cool soundtrack
it's a
associated with
soundtrack, but there's also like an album
that. That's what I came across in my algorithm.
Yeah.
You and I have similar algorithms.
So I'll talk to you guys later. Appreciate you watching. This is a fun one. I really enjoyed this. So good night, guys.
Good night, gentlemen.